videos, but here we are. It's time, Michael. We're doing website 1. Woo! So I think it's probably your turn to drive.
Okay.
And so yeah, shall we start with that? Oh, my brain. Should we start with this login related thing? We've got, yeah, which I have. So I posted the notes of like from the last session.
So
that's this little here. Go on.
Would I branch off develop?
Yes. Do you want to? Yeah, grab the latest develop. The things we're working on for local support. We've got lots of lovely. I forgot what they're called now. Volunteer ops. So that's nice. Get rid of some other tabs. Good God. Okay. So we're working on users confused by email registration, temporarily disabled. Yeah, do you want to create a branch then which starts with 778 registration confusion or something? I don't know. Work out what the
Confusion email
solution. Just put some things at the end. I don't know. I mean, I guess this is like. I mean, we've got kind of a bug here. It's like you could we could call it like remove registration email confusion. Like, yeah, we could like basically if you prefix those 3 words with the word remove, so it says remove registration email confusion. That would be a not unreasonable description of what we're trying to do. The interesting question, of course, then becomes, yeah, I guess I should pull out the local as well. It's all working. Okay, check out develop. Okay, orange and develop. Is work out what the sensible solution to all this is. Because basically, I think you know, the problem at the moment is that we have the login, and yeah, sort of historically, we've supported 3 kinds of login, which are email and password, GitHub, and Google+. So we've got the sign up operation, and basically we were getting these like 3 a minute spam email registrations, so we just disabled the form and some other stuff.
Okay.
And to be honest, you know, it's sort of like I guess we could be like trying to. One thing we could do is we could try and re-enable the email registrations with something to sort of stop the spam and continue in that arms race. I guess I sort of feel like, well, we should just require people to use GitHub. But we have this related problem that if you don't have your email, if your email is not exposed in GitHub, then it all doesn't work, and that's been particularly confusing for people. If we look at this, so there's one issue. So one issue is that people are like, they're just like email rotation temperature, or like some people like are just like completely they're like, oh, it's disabled, so I can't log in. And then we have other people who are trying to. Hey, Thomas.
Hi, guys. What's up?
Well, nothing shaking but the bacon.
All right.
In my part of the world, yeah, we're just looking at this the login stuff for website one, the sign up. Yeah. How you doing? You right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just had a few minutes over, and I saw that you guys were out. So just want to check in and say hi, basically.
Yeah, good to see you, man.
So while the tests are running in the background there, I just spotted one thing. With those events, I see some. I posted a note on the website one channel, but there seem to be a lot of events that are created by people, and so I don't know if we should be more clear about some basic rules about posting events, recurring events, because there seems to be a lot of recurring events that are just not happening. Basically.
Yes, absolutely, and yeah, good suggestion about linking to the event creator. I've added that to. I've sort of created this epic, which is about this whole kind of flow of people coming in from.
Oh yeah,
edX. But I think yes. So there's a sort of a multi. I think that your suggestion is a good one. We'll have tasks for like clearing out the dead pairing events. I think the solution, or one thing that's going to make a big difference, is better at the moment. The default is if you set a repeat to weekly, the default thing is that it never ends. So I think if we adjust the default so that when you create something with a repeat, that it's like only repeats for like a couple of weeks or what have you, that's going to be a step forward. I think what we also want is, we're talking about having the link in edX basically will by default set the repeat to be like the length of the course or whatever, and then it won't extend afterwards. So
I think that's a good solution.
Yeah. So I think there's a number of things that we can do, and
also perhaps expand the categories to be more than Scrum pair programming, but perhaps homework or something.
Yeah. Well, I think that links in with the thing that you want as well, which is I think that is to have them project coordinated, so that if as well as having category, you have projects, and that when people create it from here, automatically the project will be associated with the MOOC project, and then we can collect and clear those all out, and they'll all be treated in the same way. Yeah. So absolutely. This is. I sort of see this. I'd like to be reviewing how the projects and everything work, but I feel like in order to clear out the noise, we need to get this done. So we've kind of got the sequence that we're asking the students to go through, and then we've identified like the signing up thing actually is like a first blocker for some people, but then we're going to kind of work through each of the elements of like browsing the pairing events, creating the events, taking the events live, and try and address the issues in each of those until we have this kind of flow as a kind of funnel from the MOOC into Agile Ventures working as smoothly as possible.
Sounds great.
Cool. Yeah. So we were just talking about the login thing, and I was saying to Michael, we could remove the G+. There's the GitHub, the issue that it doesn't work if you don't have your email exposed. Whether we should be trying to reinstate email registrations, when we have the spam issue. So, yeah.
Yes. So, one thing is removing the Google Plus sign up altogether.
Yeah.
Removing it from the sign up page, but I don't think, at least, that we can remove it from the system altogether, because I think that, if I'm not mistaken, we need to have the G+, identity in order to sync the YouTube account somehow.
Right.
If I'm not completely mistaken, so we still need that. And that's another thing that we should tell people, that you can sign up with GitHub, but if you plan to host and record videos, as sessions, then you need to sync your G+ and YouTube accounts somehow. I think we need to be a little clearer on that.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, I think I'm getting an echo again, Michael. Is that from Michael? Is that from Thomas? It's weird.
I don't know. I have my headphones in, so.
Yeah, Michael's muted. Maybe it's like from myself.
It could be. The quality of your audio decreased significantly.
I'm just going to reload the Hangout.
Now it's better.
I just thought I'd come in. I'm still getting a bit of an echo.
So I have a failing queue.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
On, projects feature 184 scenario editing pitch content
Hmm.
with Mercury editor.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, that's not the one that's been giving us particular problems, which is the documents one. But that also looks to me like this is, well, I suspected we would discover that we had this as an issue anyway. Is the JavaScript failures? Do you want to run that individual test again? What version of OS? You're on OS X there, Michael. What version are you on?
Yosemite.
Hmm. And how old's the laptop?
What?
How old is the laptop? It's a couple
It's
of
a
years.
MacBook Pro mid 2014.
Right. Yeah, that should be perfectly fast enough. And I'm having this thing
I mean,
again.
running it alone, it passes.
Right. See, I think this is one of the intermittent failures. This may be. We're going to have to work on this. God, this is so annoying. This occasionally one of my screens flickers out, and I have to like. Come on, here we go. Okay, and everything. Okay, now everything is in a different place. Okay. Okay.
Seems like it's passing now, maybe.
Yeah, so I think this is and the whole set from develop passed for me. I think this is one of the intermittent failures, and I think it also did you run the whole lot again in batch? Did you?
I had ran the whole thing and it failed, and then I ran just that
Mm-hmm.
feature
Mm-hmm.
and it failed. And then when you had me run the individual scenario, it passed, and then now running the feature, it passes.
Right, right. I mean, yeah. So this might, I mean, this might be something. Let me have a look. I have got. Oh, where's it gone? Where's my mouse gone? Here's my mouse. I have got. We've got an open. Issue for intermittent failures. So we could just have a look at that. Come on, searching. Thank you. Let's look. So yeah, I mean, I've been getting this is like documents feature 170. It's generally been in documents feature. You got that one spec. Do you want to just paste the error message for this one into here just to kind of keep track of? That's the projects feature. Do you need the link to that? I'll put the story in there for you. That's the difficulty, of course, with tracking these down is we don't seem to have a way of making them fail reliably. We don't know why it fails. Coming back to if we're just sort of thinking about strategy for the issue that we're working on. I mean, why does that not work? The breaking it down to be as absolutely small as possible. The really simple thing, I guess, would be here. It would say, email registrations are temporarily disabled, and we could have the text there which would say, please sign up with GitHub. See link above.
Once again, you said please.
Well, just here, like having at the moment, like it doesn't fix the whole problem. But one of the things is that some people, I think, are reading email registrations temporarily disabled and assuming that's the end of the world, right? I can't do it. If this sentence was extended and it said, email registrations are temporarily disabled, please sign up via GitHub or Google above, and possibly even having direct links to them would, I think, ameliorate the problem slightly.
I agree. I agree.
I noticed. Yeah, so that's. I mean, I think that would be like the quick fix, and then the more involved fixes are there a way to make the GitHub sign up work even without the email, and or is there a way to re-enable email registrations such that we're not going to be victims of spam?
Right. So,
do you want to try and identify the test related to the sign up, Michael?
Yeah, man.
Sorry, guys. So one thing that we should also we could tell people that there's something wrong with their GitHub account, that they should enable their email, make their emails visible.
Right. Yes.
I'm sorry. I got a phone call while you were speaking, so I'm sorry if I missed something. But that could be another option. Just tell them that
yes,
you have to make that
indeed
that setting public.
User management, maybe?
No, I guess there's a sign up feature somewhere.
It's under the users folders. Yes, it is. There it is. Sign in, sign out.
Create users. It's called create users.
OmniAuth feature. It's two below. It's under. There you go. Google GitHub.
Right. Neither of those are logging in with the email registration.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was okay. No, that's under
under create users feature.
Create users feature, yeah.
So
on 19 and 20, 21.
Yeah, user signs up with valid data. When I sign up as a valid user data.
And that on line 9 is more direct, because that see everything.
Yeah.
So this tag apparently makes it seem like they already are logged into GitHub.
Yeah, and you see here on line 49 when you try to sign in and there is no email, it should actually flash email can't be blank.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, I think, or does it?
Or maybe it does and people just don't notice. And
it could be like that, of course. Yes.
If there is a test that says then I should see email can't be blank.
Yeah. I see that. So that flash could be a little more verbose, just telling them that it seems like something is, because just saying email can't be blank could be like, what do you mean can't be blank? I didn't provide an email, so that's it could be perceived like an error.
Indeed.
Okay, so
well, I think the interesting thing is at the moment is, I think so we've identified this scenario, these two scenarios. Like at the moment, what's interesting is that we've disabled the page, but these scenarios are still passing. I don't know if the scenarios have been disabled at some lower level. So we've got, it's like, given I'm on the registration page, so we've got the registration page views.
Must not be linked, maybe?
Yeah, maybe it's just like the form is hidden or something, or is, I guess the registrations. Here we go. Yeah. All right. So we've got the registrations page. Okay. So we've got okay. We've got there's a production check that says here that if it's basically saying purely in the production server, then we've got email registrations are temporarily disabled. So the form still, and so for the operation from the point of view of the tests, the form is still there.
Right. So does that imply that we're not testing it, obviously.
We're not. There's no test of what text appears here. I mean, it was sort of a situation where we were getting overwhelmed by the spam, and I said to Raoul, "Can you just take that offline?" And he did. and I very much appreciated that he did so.
Should we want to continue with that?
Well, so that's the question, isn't it? You know, I mean, we could try temporarily reinstating this, and then just see if the spam comes back. I'm kind of, you know, it's sort of a real pain to have to deal with, and then, you know, I think we still didn't get all of the spam users out of the database. Although I think Thomas worked hard to do that. I guess I'm just thinking about here about the third-party buttons. There is that we can't give them like a link in here. I mean, what I'm tempted to do is, like, you know, what I would, the simple fix would be, you know, please sign up via GitHub or G+, and then these would actually both be links to, you know, the actual things that's
right.
I mean, I think part of the issue is, I could just say GitHub and Google there. I mean, some people, I think that, you know, are just blinded by that. They're not necessarily, I mean, this is like students for Rose's class or whatever. They're not necessarily realizing that clicking on these buttons will sign them up via GitHub. I mean, whether we should be, you know, catering to those, you know, how far we should tie ourselves and not to cater to particular sorts of users is another question.
So, sign up via.
Hey, yeah, I'm still here.
That.
Yeah, I mean that would be like the you know, a minimal fix to try and deploy. It's I'm kind of in two minds about the like. I think part of the confusion also arises from, you know, if you go, people may well have come to that page through the login page, so which has got an email and password, and I guess we've got some existing users who have email and password, so we
have to support that.
Yeah, or make a decision to say, like, well, hey guys, look, it's GitHub or nothing. I don't necessarily want to take a snap decision on that.
I would say it's GitHub or nothing, you know. If you ask me.
Sure. Yeah, and I think that may be the way to go. I guess what I'm thinking is, can we put out a simple fix for the confusion caused by this message, and then we can, you know, like, get that in place, and then we can do the because I think if we pull this out completely, that leads to, you know, various failing tests and other things that we need to clean up.
So there are two things here. First, I would say that no matter if we take out Google Pass or now, we should definitely make that message clearer that, you know, there's something wrong with the GitHub account.
Yeah. Oh yes, yes. Well, I think I also want to explore more of why it is that we can't handle GitHubs that don't have an email associated with them.
Oh, that's because, all right, so I know why. Because the device needs an email address to create a user. So what we could do, if we want to go down that path, is to make device use a username instead of email to identify users. But that requires a fairly big amount of refactoring and overriding the basic device functionality, I would say.
Yeah, or we have it so that when the GitHub thing, when they log in via GitHub, if the email is not available, we take them to another page and we say, oh, you know, we need your, I mean, I guess, do we actually need their email address for anything? I mean,
for device.
Just because we happen to have set device as using that as the main thing, right? But I mean, we could be prompting the user to enter their email address at that point.
It depends a little bit on, but yeah, absolutely. In theory, yes, it depends a little bit on the callback. But yeah, so What we can, what I would be tempted to do is to, in those tests, to see what the response looks like if it's just an empty field, and where exactly the device is kicking in and saying no, because then you can probably monkey patch it, or just yeah.
But so, Michael, going back to the change that you made there, I'm thinking, like, should the other thing that we should do here is that rather than we have this in like a Rails M production, like, in order to give us more control over what's happening, should we adjust this to be like have a feature flag, so we can turn email registrations on and off?
Potentially, yeah. So okay. Do we have features in this project yet?
I don't know if we do.
I think we do, but it was during my absence. I think somebody introduced that someplace, but I don't know where though.
Oh, it looks like we've got, there's like a features in the settings.yaml. So it's using this. So it's got this this sort of, if you go into config and looking in settings.yaml, it's kind of got a setup. So it's got I can't immediately remember the mechanism for talking to them, but it's got like a way of referring to settings that's slightly different from the way that, rather than doing like env and then calling the thing, it's got like it's using some kind of settings gem or something. So if we search for that custom errors in here, so like this, we can kind of refer to, you see here, like this, features custom errors.
An exception notification RB.
So I think like we could add, so like we've got features custom errors, so we could in principle put in here, just have like email registrations, and then enabled false, like this, and then we could refer to that
like that.
Yeah. Now, of course, the interesting thing here is that this means that the deploy is still required to change the feature flag, and it gets set in principle the same on every system. Because the advantage that we have for our feature flags in local support is that we have database backed.
Yeah.
I guess the settings thing can be overridden here for like development, production, and test can have their own specific settings.
Correct.
But yeah, again, like the features can't be manipulated independently of deploying new code.
So, just going back, we were to say.
Yeah, so there we would say if feature dot email registrations. Well, I guess we've got enabled, and we could turn the if into an unless. And I guess then we would want to.
Probably tests will fail now, right?
The test would fail. So we could then, at least within the test environment,
put
yeah, we could put the
under settings
enabled true into the
under settings, right?
Yeah, under settings, yeah, subfolder test, yeah.
Features.
YAML. You should be able to do Alt Command L in that file as well, and it will auto indent it. Anyway. So then we could try running the test associated with that feature we were looking at. So what's that? Create users feature. So we sort of effectively have the same thing twice over in this create users. We have the imperative and the declarative.
Shit.
What's happened there?
Other users? What? I had killed it and then it's...
Oh, yeah.
Now it's gonna...
Oh, you just rate test DB prepare. Oh, no, no.
Maybe if I restart it. Because I had killed it in the middle. In the middle of the test run. Okay. What's the feature?
So it's users and then create _ users dot feature.
Can't find a feature.
Okay, so maybe we can't. Oh, it's features rather than features. It's features plural.
With capital, like just capital?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah. Yeah. So we could run all of the tests for this. You could just star there, yeah. You see, and so in principle, this, I think that like, we've done slightly more than the very absolute minimum change. We've added in the, a slightly more fine-grained control of it rather than locking it directly to production. And so this is a, like I think like this change, rather than waiting 2 weeks to build it, like this now, we should in principle be able to take straight out to production within a few hours, I would say, because I would say that the kind of we've got a effectively an ongoing bleed because of this problem.
You think so?
Well, I mean, I think we did when the MOOC was run. Now that the MOOC is finished, I mean, I don't know how many people are landing on our sign-up page at the moment, but we want people to be landing on our sign-up page and knowing what to do and so on. So this is like over the last few weeks, it's come up a number of times. So it's kind of like it feels like it would be a good idea to just sort of get it sorted. I'm just, what was I thinking? If I go into, can I see, for example, from analytics, like this week, how many people landed on our sign up page. Website 1, all website data. Can I look at? See, we had now. What time is that? Looking now at page views. What's the date range for this? Was that for a month? It says day, week, month. To talk about interfacing, you got this number here. What does that represent? You're going. Oh, let's give it the. Okay, this gives me the dots by day, week, and month. Percentage, yeah, performance, comparison, pivot. We've got 958 page views on the sign-up page between February the 6th and March the 7th. Can we change that date range to be, for example, let's make it just the last week. So we've had 60 people land on the sign-up page, or whether that's individual, no, unique, 32. Entrances 11. So I mean, I would say in principle that it's, you know, there are people landing on this page, and I think that there's a room for confusion. So anyway, did all of the tests pass there? Have you done the rest of the Qs?
I'm running the rest of the Qs right now.
Oh, cool.
I agree. You should push this up as a fix rather than wait through the entire process.
Yeah, we were discussing earlier today, Thomas, about, you know, continuous deployment and things.
What about it?
Oh, just, you know, I was reflecting because, you know, Raul did the big push, and we had, like, you know, quite a lot of stuff, you know, all going out at once. I mean, that reflects partly, you know, the legacy situation that we were in. And it was just making me think, should we have some process where, I don't know, like every 2 days, whatever is in develop gets automatically pushed to staging, and like every 2 days, whatever's in staging automatically gets pushed to production, or some kind of automated deployment process. And I think I've decided, I think I'd probably not really what we need, but I was just reflecting on whether we needed something like that.
Yeah, reflection is always good. I would say I would have advised against that, to have that, because I would say that sometimes you need to park stuff on develop. That's why we have a develop server, I think.
And it needs to be manually tested. Yeah.
Yeah, and once it's manually tested, you can come up with several, you know, reach several conclusions. Yeah, it looks good. All good, or we need to patch it, or we need to, you know, do some small changes, etc. Then, you know, what you could have is something between the staging and production, perhaps. You know, the way we use the staging server in website 1, historically at least, was for nothing, basically. You know,
I think though with continuous deployment or whatever, don't people really actually do individually test?
Well, they deploy stuff to their own test servers. I mean, it's the
to their and then people get emails or whatever, and it says they have to go and actually manually test it and then sign off.
Oh, they get reminded to manually test it, and they have to actually do it.
Have to actually sign off on that before.
Maybe. Yeah. What were you saying, Thomas?
It's like an actual pipeline or whatever.
Right.
They call it like a pipeline.
The pipeline, yeah. And Heroku has got it's. I mean, yeah. So I'll pull up my Heroku one for.
I mean, what we have at the moment is that every time a pull request is merged to a specific branch, that is automatically pushed out to the server. So, when you merge something to develop, it's deployed to the develop server. Same thing with the staging and production, basically. I think the only thing that I would say at the moment, we should rethink whether we need or do not need the staging server, because it's the way we don't use it for anything right now. But potentially what we could have is, like, you know, that we make the develop server a little bit of a quote unquote playground, so, you know, just to see whether stuff are working, and then you know, so we patch and we do stuff, and then we push it out to staging, and do actual, just a review, is everything okay? So we can migrate data back and forward from the production and staging, just to, I don't know, load test stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we can push stuff out to Heroku. In some other projects that I've been working on, we used the Heroku for development, and then we had staging and production on DigitalOcean, and then there is a reason to have a staging server, because it's not only about the data and functionality, but also about the underlying technology, the OS and everything. So we wanted to have the staging server and the production server to be almost mirrors of each other,
Yeah. Well, and I think that there's, the thing about automatically pushing to Git and then it goes out, that's the automatic deployment, and I have that on every other project I'm working on as well. It may seem like the staging server doesn't get used, even in this situation that we have like Website 1, I'd say the same for local support, is if you have a situation where there's a bug that's only occurring on production, what you want is your staging server to be with, a clone of the production data, so that you can do your tests on the staging server to kind of like debug particular issues that have occurred on production. So it may be that the staging server is not used very often for that purpose, but I think it's important to have it set up and ready to use as part of the production debug process.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not against that in any way. I'm just saying that in this case where we use all three, all of our three servers are on Heroku, there is no need to test the environment and stuff like that, because the environment is pretty much the same on all three servers, right?
Oh no, I think it's still there's potential, like at least the way it is in local support, there's potentially quite a big difference between the environment in develop and staging in terms of the actual data that's present.
Yeah, that's absolutely. So that was my first point. So if we actually replicate the data, between the production and staging, that could, but we don't do that right now.
Oh, you don't do that at the moment.
No, I mean we did that a few times, so there is some
right, but it's now out of date. Okay, well that's something I do fairly regularly on local support. Okay, that's good to know. I'm trying to find this, like they've got this new feature for pipelines on Heroku, but I keep on pipelines. That's the new. Can I see there's the new? Yeah, it's got this. You can kind of draw a pipeline on Heroku, and you can kind of like put things in different things, but it doesn't seem to. It's supposed to have this functionality for automatically deploying. Like when someone makes a pull request, it's supposed to automatically deploy it, so you can kind of like review it and do manual testing on it. But I've never had it like work really well. It's still in beta. Anyway, so Michael, have your tests all passed there?
Yeah, I committed and pushed.
Excellent. Do we have a pull request?
Let me open one.
Or you want to install Hub and try it from the command line? I guess not.
How would I install that?
I think you could just do brew install Hub if you've got brew on your.
I have it installed. I always keep forgetting using it though.
No, it looks like you've already got it. Yeah, so just if you do Hub space pull hyphen request. No, you've got an extra space there. So it's Hub space pull no space hyphen request. Yeah, and if you do -B and then develop, so that's the branch that you're going to do your pull request against, and then if you do -M. No, you don't need to do it. No, if you're already on that branch, you don't need to. You just specify the one you're going gets it, and then -M, and then you can basically this will be the title of your pull request. So you put like in quotes, this is like what are we doing here? We are, improving email registration disabled message. Let's say, or whatever you fancy.
It should reference 778.
Oh, well, then it doesn't need to do it there. So if you just hit return there, it'll take you into Vim, and then after you've, I always cache those things for myself. Okay. It didn't take you into.
No, because I.
Okay, so now if you go and click on pull requests.
Yeah.
There. Yeah, so now if you edit that description, and if you say fixes.
So it should have taken me into Vim, and
it should, but it didn't for some reason. Maybe there's some sort of editor weirdness. Next time you can do it without the minus M. But anyway, in there, just if you type fixes space pound 778.
Fixes.
Yeah, and then pound, and then 778. And I wouldn't put the dot there, and I would it seems to be, in my imagination, I would do lowercase f at the beginning. It's sort of ridiculous, but that's actually from yeah, and do update that. So what we should now see in Waffle look is we've now, let's have a look. There you go, yeah. So it's automatically assigned you to this, and we know that this is now, please check so I can manually move that across there.
I can't see your screen anymore.
Can you not see my screen? Oh.
No.
Let me turn it on and off again. That appears to be the way. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so here, you see it's automatically assigned you to the task, and it's associated the pull request with the task.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I guess then if that builds, where's the? Yeah, so we'll see what Semaphore says about that. So should we? I guess we could Pong now.
Sure.
And I mean, I guess then there's a separate. I mean, in principle, this deals with the very, very highest level of this. There's the separate issue of the GitHub email thing that people have been, which we don't have. We don't seem to have a ticket for at the moment. And I think we've got some notes on it in here. So I'm tempted to create a separate ticket for that, which is yeah. It's interesting. This user here saying he would prefer that his username was his GitHub name.
Okay, so that's something we can probably accommodate at some point. But so the way we display names is either there is a first name, registered, because when they update their profile, they can add a first name, and then they if they don't have a first name, then we just grab whatever is before the @ sign in their email, So that's how we display that basically, but nothing should stop us from saving the GitHub username in the database. I don't think we do it right now. Or yeah, well, we do that actually. We have that stored in the database, so we could probably display that as the username. But we just prefer to have people's real names if they have them displayed as their names basically.
Interesting. I wonder, we've had various reports of this. I wonder if the thing to do here is to try and write a failing test that gets with this situation, or at least we'll run through it on the local. I guess, do we need like a test GitHub user that doesn't have an email?
We have that already, don't we?
Let's so is that part of the OmniAuth feature, is it? That's create users.
Create a user. OmniAuth without
email. There we go.
For GitHub, yeah.
Okay, so there's.
Do you want to start a branch for this, or?
Yeah, I will. I was just. So this OmniAuth without email, I guess that's going to be defined in our support environment somewhere. Where is that originally defined? Hooks. Before OmniAuth without email. Okay. Okay. Right. Yes, I mean the reason I only paused slightly before creating a branch is wondering, you know, what's the change, if anything, that we want to make. I guess, as Thomas was alluding to, that the email can't be blank is a somewhat obtuse message. I kind of want to just also, like at the moment, I'm not sure. Like if I think about, I guess what I should also do, no, let's just slash.
I think that's just the devise message, right?
Right, maybe. Yeah. I'm just thinking I kind of want to follow the flow through the system. So we've got devise, we've got our registrations page, there's like new. So we've got these supported third parties. Like, is that going to be, no. I'm just wondering where this is defined. There we go. Okay. So supported third party, that's just an array of those things. And then we've got social button. Okay, here we go. So we've got application helper, basically allows us to create those buttons. And so the links in those are going to be going out to, right, we've got an endpoint. It's interesting there, it's like, I guess the percentage too, if that's telling us that the previous page that we were on was just the slash. And that auth GitHub endpoint is, where's that coming from? Is that like a devise OAuth thing that we've got set up? Yeah, we've got auth provider callback, authentications create. There's auth, yeah, auth. That's the callback. Auth.
GitHub /callback or whatever.
There's auth. It should be auth/provider.
Yeah, auth/GitHub/callback. That's the callback.
Right, but if I look at this link, it doesn't have the /callback on it. I mean, the callback is when it kind of goes off. So after it comes back, it hits the callback.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about what like we've got here. The root here is auth/GitHub, which is auth/provider, but I'm not seeing the. I guess that's corresponding to that, but.
So you're getting an error probably before that, or?
Oh, there's no error. There's no error. I mean, I'm just trying to understand the point at which we. Oh my! That's a monitor. Self off. Stupid thing. Oh, come on with you. Come on, computer. What you were saying, Michael, is that it comes back with the that email can't be blank is you're thinking it's a devise message.
It sounds. I mean,
He's perfectly right. It is a.
sounds like a devise message.
Yeah. So I'm just sort of like by following the flow through the code,
See where that's
it's
coming
come to the
from.
point at which we actually see that message. Like what's the point at which it's being handed off? Come on, computer. I'm going to switch over to this new laptop soon. Hopefully that will fix that problem. Okay, here we go. But anyway, so we come back in through the callback, and that's going to be the authentications create. And do we actually have an authentications controller, or is that part of devise? Oh.
Looks like there's one right there.
Yeah, give me a second. There's no point in answering the phone, the landline in the day because it's always just random crap. Good God. Anyway,
It's always some marketer.
Yeah, authentication controller. Okay. So
there's the create method.
And I just wonder there if I don't know if this is the right. When I click GitHub, that's just clicking the that's just clicking the button text. That's irrelevant. But so I should see email can't be blank. Yeah, I mean I assume that would be a device. And have we got we've got devise messages in the support, not support, in the config. Config set. Oh, computer. Oh, good grief. I don't know, I'm going to lose that screen. That's the one that seems to be causing the problem. Okay, you go over there for a minute. The computer probably needs rebooting. Because we've got a devise. Now. I don't see exactly that message in there, but yeah, at the moment, I mean, and maybe it's a default devise message, but it's one that potentially we can override somewhere.
So there's a method in there called failure.
Yeah, in the authentications controller.
Which doesn't seem to be called by anything. Callback or something?
Well, I think if the callback comes back with, if we were looking like the rake routes that we were looking at before, like I think if there's a failure, like if the person fails to sign in, like it should redirect them to a GitHub login if they're not logged into GitHub already, and if they then fail there, it would come back and it would.
So if you drop a debugger into that.
Yes, that should stop on failure. Yeah.
Right.
Drop a debugger in there and run that test, that one particular scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of putting.
If params messages comes back with that, what's that coming back with?
Yeah, I was thinking of putting bybug in here, but yeah, let's do it there. So.
Well, let's just see if it even gets caught.
Yeah. So here we're in feature, and the feature that we're interested in is it's users create user feature, and it's this 45. No, and it's not called.
It's not called, so.
It should be called. Let's just close others. Authentications controller. Yeah, so I'm tempted to put the bybug in there because I think from the auth's point of view, it's a successful run. You know, it goes, the data comes back. Yeah, and so we're there in the create operation, create place. So then, I guess if we just, let's see what happens if we go through it. So on the auth, authentication, path, I wonder what the path is now. Slash, okay, that's where they came from. If authentication present, right, and so it's jumped there, and it's gone to create new user with authentication. Right. Interesting. I wonder if we step, and it's the features enabled, user email. Let's step into that. So it creates a new user, apply OmniAuth. I wonder if it's this save operation that it would there. Let's do next there. Yeah, so the user save itself has failed.
Ah.
So I think it's this point here. It's when it tries to save it. So is it actually, rather than well, maybe devise, but is there do we have a validation on the?
Well, type user dot errors.
Yeah.
Type user dot errors.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
So that's just a devise error message.
One assumes so. Yeah, because we don't have anything related to the email in here. No, or at least nothing at the top level. Yeah,
It says email can't be blank, right?
Yeah, that's what the error says here. Yes, yes, that's a devise.
That's just a standard devise.
Yeah, and Thomas was saying before that that's something that there's a choice there that one can. It's interesting. What is this devise? I wonder if the what. I think that's.
Well, you can either make it to the devise, like Thomas was saying.
Yeah, it's like
your name or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's like you can create a separate username, or you can have your email.
We can change the message so that it's clearer.
Well, certainly, what we could do in this instance here is,
or we can go on.
Yeah, well, we can certainly change the message we can clear. And I was going to say, we can, in this context, we know that we're coming in from the remote OmniAuth authentication, so it won't screw up other things. And then you were going to say the other thing we could do is support users having usernames, and then automatically.
Or another thing is, like you were saying, at this point we could actually
ask them for a
support asking them for a username or for an email.
Yeah, we could do, couldn't we? It seems like the
simplest thing would be just to provide a clearer message.
Clearer message, yeah. It's interesting we've got these notes that Brian has tested some of these things.
Wow.
So now, of course, there are many things that could be going wrong here, but I guess so there would be the thing to do here would be potentially to, well, I mean, I guess now let me put it on a feature branch anyway. Let's just continue.
I mean, you could write a method very specifically to look for that email valid.
Yeah, we actually just did that in local support somewhere to rewrite one of the devise messages that was a bit obtuse. So this, I've created an issue here for this, which is 876. And so this is GitHub, no email, message clarity. And yeah, okay. So let's remove the bug.
Move it from 27 to.
Did I put it? Oh yeah.
You left it there.
Yeah, good call. And then so to drive the thing, it's like I mean, the other thing that we could be doing here, I don't know if it makes sense, is taking the the user's GitHub name and like just inserting a email address like plump@github.com or something stupid. I don't know. So instead of email can't be blank, it should be. I mean, I guess we've also got the variation here that it's like Google Plus and GitHub, and so this we want to be able to say something like your
GitHub.
Yeah, and it needs to be the name of the provider. But anyway, if we do here, so it's like your GitHub account needs to have a public email address for sign up. How does that sound?
Yeah. I can't imagine how good. I don't think Google Plus would it fail in that way. I mean, it's set up in our test to fail that way, but
yeah, it's difficult to imagine them allowing Google Plus to be created, whatever. But anyhow, so then are these all private methods? No. Yes, they are. Okay. So in principle here, we've got like def, this is customize missing email message.
You could pass in omniauth.
Yeah. I'll just hard code to there, missing that. That's just, so what we want is the user, and then so what we want to manipulate is.
We also kind of want the omniauth too.
We do, but I'll do one thing at a time. So we've got the user errors, and the user errors. Do we reach in its user errors.messages? So can we just do here like
if
user
errors and then :email?
I think, is it not, we have to go reach into messages first, like that,
Maybe.
And then like this
equals double equals.
Well, I was just going to do. I was just going to
hard code it.
I was just going to do this in the first instance and see what happened to the test. I'm not even calling it. So it's not making a difference, is it? There we go. Let's from north in the session. Because it's slightly how should it start with? Yeah. No, it still says email can't be blank, so it's not.
Interesting.
So here.
Maybe you have to.
User error. Is it user error errors? I mean, maybe messages. Yeah.
:email.
Can't be blank. I mean, it's interesting that it may be that the message that it then generates is that it generates
email can't be blank.
Yeah. Anyway, so if we do customize missing, so if I just let's go through that. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So the user errors seems to update, but then it still ends up saying email can't be blank.
Do you have to save the Yeah.
I mean, I have a feeling this was the issue maybe that we encountered on local support, that we had to change the devise thing because we couldn't do it dynamically. Was that right? Because we've got config, locales, devise. Yeah, I think this was the thing we ended up doing in this thing.
I think someone's saying that if you do .full messages,
oh yeah,
you can map it. I don't know whether this works. You can dynamically. I don't know whether this is true. Let me send you it. Stack Overflow post.
Right, so this is the one that we ended up doing.
This is the same thing.
And then this is another one right here. So that's a hack in the... Interesting. I guess they've overridden the devise helper. I mean, the thing that we have is that we would like it to be specific to the omniauth, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we would. Not just every device.
The interesting thing here is that...
So what if you use his logic without...
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking to do, and I just
putting it in the devise helper.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just changed this to full messages here. Whether that will, I think that just trying to do that. I think here.
I think you have to do the map like he's saying.
Full messages here like this.
You have to do the map like he's saying. Because that'll iterate every message, and then you check whether it's the message that you're trying to change.
Right.
And if it's not the message, then it just leaves it.
Right, but in this context, he's doing it like, you know, this is going to be. I think it's overridden that thing here. I mean, there's a method here where we get the full messages. Can we set the full messages here to be, I don't know, like test? No, and we can't set. So the full messages is just for reading it.
What if you do .map?
Well, I'm sure here we can map. It's an array. We can map through it, but that's not gonna. It's not gonna change the
I see.
objects here.
It's not gonna change it in one.
Yeah. I've got a break briefly, and I think we've got a stand up coming up, which which maybe we should do and have a little break and
it's getting late.
Tea and stuff. Should we have a little break, Michael, and come back to this after stand up?
All right.
Cool. All right. Catch you guys in a bit.
Thank you guys for letting me listen in.
Pleasure having you with us, Thomas. Cheers. Bye for now.